Sir, please. Okay. So, as I told you, this is not the story of success. This is the story where consistency defeats uncertainty. You all know UPSC, some people define U stands for uncertainty. And through consistency, he has proved that even uncertainty can be defeated. This is a story where the patience outlasted the pressure. And his story also signifies that last attempt might not be your final one, it can be your best one. So, for me, as I told you, this is a personal favorite session for the reason that this is not only the story of success. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? ಓಕೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆದ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಿಜ, ಬಟ್ ಸೋತು ಗೆದ್ದವರ ಯಶಸ್ಸಿನ ಕತೆ. ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಸೋತಾಗಲೂ ಅದೊಂದು ಪಾಠಗಳು ಇರ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪಾಠಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ the wise man always learns from the mistake of others. So, I request All India rank 53, Karnataka topper, Mr. KIRAAN KAMATE sir, to share his story, like his wisdom regarding the exam preparation. So, with a huge round of applause, over to you, sir.
Firstly, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Good morning. How's the Josh? My name is KIRAAN KAMATE. I come from a place called as Hattarvat village in Chikkodi Taluk, Belagavi district. I have grown up in different parts of North Karnataka. Just to give a brief, I have grown up in Hubballi. That's where my 3rd to 8th standard happened. In 9th to 10th, I went to Gadag school. Then 11th and 12th, I was in Nippani. It's a bordering area between Karnataka and Maharashtra. Engineering I did in Gokte Institute of Technology. I graduated in civil engineering in 2018. Thereafter, 2 years, because of my engineering graduation, I went for GATE and engineering services. So that was 2019 and 2020. I started this preparation since March 2020, just before the COVID lockdown happened. This has been my 6th attempt. I've given consecutive 6 attempts since March 2020. That year it was October 2020, the first attempt that I gave. So thereafter, consecutively, I've attempted this examination. The first 3 attempts completely as a full-time aspirant I've prepared for this. I think that is where the lot of foundation happened. Thereafter, the succeeding 3 attempts, it was I was working as assistant engineer in Public Works Department, Lokopayogi Ilakhe. So 23 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 3 attempts I have done with a full-time state government job. So Insights has been always special because I came to Bangalore in 2021 after my second attempt, after failing my second attempt to be more precise. So I came here. I think I have a lot of connection with Insights IAS. I have not been part of any major courses here, but the first time when I reached here, I think all my initial worldview of Chandra layout has been through Insights IAS. So it's like a homecoming for me, because after that October 2021 I've come here, so it's a homecoming for me as well. Insights has been that special home to me. I was part of the I Will program, the answer writing program. I was also part of the Step Up series. the interview guidance program as well. So this has been my association with Insights. To just give a brief history of my attempts, I think that is important to understand. How many of you can understand Kannada here? Okay, so I'll make it bilingual, mostly bilingual, because I like speaking in Kannada. So I'll make it both. So 2020 March, as I said, was my first year of preparation. That is when I started. So I had a brief, some background of engineering coaching as well, because I went to GATE coaching in Hyderabad. Then I attempted the engineering services, then gave a lot of engineering exams as well. Thereafter, I gave UPSC CSE. My journey was like, I wanted to take an engineering job after graduation. I wanted to crack the GATE. I also cracked it once, and I was offered the IIT Guwahati Water Resources Engineering course, because I didn't wanted it, because I was aiming for some other courses. That year, because of the election year, the number of seats were less. So I could not get that. So I missed the course I wanted. That is when I dropped out. At that time, it felt like a heartbreak. But I'm glad that it happened, because I would not have come here. Then engineering services, I prepared for engineering services for another year. And engineering services, again, I cleared the prelims. In the meantime, I had also cleared the railways, the RRB JE. I just wanted to have some job at first and then shift to engineering services. That was my initial plan. But somewhere that didn't happen. Like, I had written around close to 20 exams before attempting the civil services. So different 20 other technical examinations. Apart from GATE and other RRB or another few, most of them I have failed. I've just always failed. I've failed to make any impact there. So it was a very difficult time, that 2020 phase before starting the civil services. And RRB JE also, I had cleared it, got a very good rank, but still could not make it because of the medical requirements. So whatever I did, it was not working out. Whatever I did, it was not that I was just sitting quiet. I wrote exams after exams. I did everything I could. The MTech program, I could not get the course I wanted. So everything failed. I think that was the most lowest point I've reached in life. And it is only then I felt that ultimately, okay, now I have no other choice but to take civil services. Even my father, who was very supportive, who saw this vision through me, even at that point he said, maybe you're not cut out for competitive exams. I'll get you a private job, ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಡೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಒಂದಿನ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಲಿತು ಸೈಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಹೋಗು ಅಂತ ಅಂದರು. But I didn't want to do that. So I asked him, just one more year. Just give me one more chance, I'll do it. So that is when I took up civil services. I prepared in my home itself. That was a COVID lockdown year, so he's a principal of an engineering college. So because of the lockdown, the entire campus was empty. I used to go to his library. In the entire empty library, I used to sit. So this happened for 2 years. For 1 year this happened. I just studied NCRTs and basic books. I gave my first attempt. I could not clear it, but it was a very positive thing, because I had missed it by a very small margin. And even I was surprised that just by NCRTs and some basic books, I had come very close to clearing it. So that gave a lot of boost. So that is when I went and said again, like, even my father became confident. Okay, let me give another chance. So I took that another chance as well. Did everything, wrote a lot of tests, did everything. But again, you know how unpredictable. Hard work is one thing, but that necessarily does not mean you will clear this exam. Prelims is very uncertain, very tricky, very dicey. And our Shano 2021 prelims, I could not clear. Now again, already 2020, I was telling that was the lowest point. Now you can imagine what was happening. So absolutely, like self-confidence, this is ground level, it is below that. That is when I came to Chandra Layout, and here I see the crowd, and you know what that does to an underconfident guy. Very wrong timing. I felt none but ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಉದ್ದಾರ ಆಗತ್ತಾರೆ. Only I am not. And completely against God ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. That is the time I felt I was fluctuating ಈ ಕಡೆ agnostic to atheist belief. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ I decided I am an atheist ಅಂತ, because God is doing well in others' cases. It is just special interest in me that He's not doing well in my case. So I become that atheist. Like I decide whatever will happen, it will only be through my own hard work. I will do it and I will prove God's wrong. So again I started, but before all that I think I was a very underconfident guy. I think 4, 5, 6 years ago, if I have seen, if someone would say I would come here and talk, absolutely I would not believe it. I could not face anyone and even speak for a minute. If anyone would call, raise their hands and ಕರೆದ್ರಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ತಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಅಷ್ಟು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ವೆರಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್, ವೆರಿ ಆ ಇನ್ಫೀರಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ದಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ a lot of you can relate to it. It's not that is why I'm telling you this story, because this is something you and I can relate. Maybe not our parents, not our relatives, friends, etc., because they're not going through that. So that was the kind of mindset I was in, and that is when I landed in this hub, Chandra Layout. And I met Vinay sir. I took a couple of test series. I wrote a lot of mains and prelims test series that year. Very reluctant to write but I should also mention that my first mains answer came in insights. So that was that year I wrote, like out of 20 I had written 11 questions in 3 hours, and that was the happiest day for me, because 11 out of 20, because a guy who was very reluctant to just start answer writing, for him writing 11 in those 3 hours, I think that felt very happy. So everything will happen at its pace. So 2022 I give my third attempts. So from 2021 October here till the next June 22 I write a lot of tests. I made that correction. So that prelims was my first successful prelims. That year I wrote around 100 tests. This is not an exaggeration. You would always find me roaming like a madman in Chandra Layout with a pen always in his pocket. Any board, free open mock test, I would go there. I've spent the least money in this preparation. I've utilized all the free resources. All my money went actually in the last attempt. Else, all initial years I've been that very ಭಾಳ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಐ ರೋಟ್ 99 and 100th test was the actual prelims. So 100 tests that year, that changed everything for me, because what happens is, for when you're going through so many of phases, so many failures for years, that there came my first small success. And that prelims success what came, I think I'll be very honest, rank ಬಂದಾಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿ ಆವತ್ತಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ for 4 years from 18 to 22 June I had just failures after failures. Whatever I touched was turning into very bad lot, like nothing worked, nothing worked. And I think all that bad luck was just for me, because I could call me anything, like hard work, etc., everything, but I was not that lucky guy. Luck was always turning away, shying away from me. So but 22 prelims, that changed everything. Then I get to write my first mains. I wrote my mains, but somehow you feel that when you write your first mains, it feels like only you are writing mains. So you feel like ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಬರೋದೇನಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ sense of different aura, different mindset. So after I wrote my mains, I don't know how I've done it. I've completed the papers, I've done everything. That was a civil engineering optional that year. Then the results are out, and I'm very confidently checking like answer. Like I already know my name will be there. I'm just searching. So I'm just searching my name, and it is not there. I've not cried. I've not done anything. No emotions. I was just shocked. And again, I understood that just when I was becoming a little religious and having that faith in God, God showed me. Again, I said, I'm not coming back to you. So again, I become a hardcore atheist. I go back there. So it is in that process that I meet my wife. Back then, just a friend, just a stranger from Mysore. We met in Insights Library here in Chandra Layout. So this is also part of the process. You know that very, you know what kind of mindset I was? Very underconfident, very shy, feeling that only I am feeling in this world. That is when I met her. We were just friends back then, and she gave me a lot of confidence. She actually saw the preparation I was doing, the kind of notes I had made, the kind of value addition I was doing. She saw my preparation and she said, you will clear this exam at some point. I don't know when, maybe next year, maybe another year, I don't know, but at some point you will clear this exam because your preparation is right. And that is what I needed at that time, because no one talks to a unsuccessful or a failure. Very few people, absolutely zero, not few people. But at that time, I think she saw something in me, and that I just wanted that from her or from anyone, and she gave me that. So that kind of positive words actually boosted my confidence. That is where I cleared the first prelims, then wrote mains, could not clear it. Then at that time I got selected into the public works department. So I secured 67th rank there. So it came as a blessing in disguise. 3 years and plus 2 years earlier. So I was this broke, unemployed guy preparing for UPSC. In that time, I got this job. So I took it with both hands. I was very happy. So finally, I thought, okay, at least I have some backup. So I took that job. Then I felt, okay, I'll prepare with the job. Now I have nothing to worry. I'll give my prelims. Anyways, I got a very good score last year. All I have to do is just revise and give another attempt. So I prepared, revised, went, didn't write a lot of tests. Then gave my fourth attempt. Again, I could not clear it. I searched my name and prelims is gone. So that time I understood you might be Dhurandhar in last attempt, but next attempt is completely a new process. You might have got success in any form. You might have written mains, cleared prelims, might have gone till the interview, or even got allotted a service. But the next attempt again is a fresh attempt. It needs the same energy, same bhakti, same shraddha, the same kind of energy. So that is what I learnt in my fourth attempt. So that again felt like a disastrous one, because fourth attempt, now I have a job, but it gave me a very less time now. I have very less time to prepare. So, but failing prelims again gave a lot of time till my next attempt. So I understood. That is when I had shifted to PSIR as well. So I shifted to PSIR. That was completely based on my own interests. I was very much interested in polity. I loved writing, quoting Supreme Court judgments. You will see a lot of Supreme Court judgments across papers, because that was personally what I liked. I loved reading about the Indian polity. I loved international relations. So that comforted me, and that is why I took PSIR. So now I go and write my fifth attempt. I prepare entire year for mains oriented. I prepare, complete my PSIR, then give my fifth attempt in 2024. 24 again, like I took some break from office just 15 days before the prelims happened, but it got very hectic because 2024 was a election year and I was put as a PRO for the Chamarajnagar constituency. So this was just around prelims. Around prelims there was elections that time. So that was an additional burden plus preparation. So it was getting very difficult, but somehow I managed to write. Even in that year I dedicated 90 days for prelims and I wrote around because I had decoded the code. If I have to clear prelims, the successful prelims came only when I have written a lot of tests. 24 I failed because there was not a lot of tests written. So again I wrote around 75 tests that year and successfully cleared prelims. This was again 111 first attempt, now 108 in the second successful prelims. So I go and write mains as well. Mains, I wrote my mains, and for the result I was waiting in my office. I was just working and coming back from office. That was November 11 2024. So that is when the mains results came that year and I had cleared. That was my first successful mains in my fifth attempt. Now again, when you go to interview, what I had done, like I am only the one who is giving interview and abba interview content. But somehow with job that gave a lot of confidence, because when you're in work, especially in government setup, you speak a lot with seniors, superintendent engineers irtare, chief engineer irtare, accounts officer irtare. So there's a lot of interaction. So interview per se was not difficult in terms of communication, because that confidence was there, because I was not no more just that guy preparing in four walls. So for them it becomes difficult because you are only reading, and suddenly when you're into interview, you do not have that communication skills. You might have all the knowledge, etc., but you will not be able to translate it into better words. So that was not a problem for me. I gave my interview. I had got Shilvardhan Singh board. It was a very DAF specific, very predictable, I would say, interview. And he made me feel very comfortable, and he sent me with a lot of good feeling. He was smiling. So I thought, I've cracked the interview. It's just a matter of time. And he had sent me with a smile. So that was something I will highlight. Sir, cholo dan vaala anta ankonde. ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಂದ ಫುಲ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅವತ್ತ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬಂದೈತೆ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ದೇರ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಓಪನ್ ದ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ again April 22 result, the PDF comes. Again I am searching. There's a pattern here. Whenever I am searching, I've always failed. Whenever others have searched, I have cleared that phase. So very computer screen ಆರಾಮ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ನಾಗ ನೋಡಾಕತ್ತೀನಿ, ಲೈಕ್ KIRAN ಅಂತ ಹಾಕತ್ತೀನಿ. ಲೈಕ್ there are 6 searches. I was like 6 ಒಳಗೆ ಒಂದಂದ್ರೂ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. I have to just scroll down and I searched my first search, Kiran illa. 2 again Kiran illa. Third again Kiran Kamate illa. There are 6 Kirans, but Kiran Kamate is not there. So 2 goes, 3 goes. Now 50-50. Another 3 years. I'll take a small break. Then I hope that okay, another 3 other 33% chance it will be there. Yes, Kiran is there. Kiran Kamte will be there. Then I take the 4th search, it is not there. 5th also I take very confidently, it is not there. Now there is just one Kiran Kamte. Either that in that span between 5th and 6th, all the Mukkoti they were ಏನೇನಿದೆ atheist ತಲೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇವ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೊಂಟಾರ. And that was then like I was literally, my heart was racing. Then I make that 6th search and it said I was not there, and then after no results found. Kiran Kamte was not there. This is April 22, 2025. It was, the whole country was mourning because Pahalgam attack. I had my own reason to mourn. So I was crying more than an average Indian that year. So that was the biggest heartbreak, I would say, because that is the highest I had ever reached. And once you reach to interview, you have that feeling that I am almost there. It might somehow things will work out and I will be in the finalist. But this was again a big learning for me, because reaching interview is not like our moment, or it will be the big thing, but it is not a guarantee that it will translate into result. It will translate into your name being in the final list. So again, 22 April. Now the next prelims is hardly, and that was my last prelims. That is in May 26th, 25th, 26th. So hardly a month left. 22 that result comes. 23. The entire 22, 23 entire day I've cried. Full day I've cried, but KPSC mains was around the clock. So it was in it was in May first week. So I had two choice: either prepare for mains or continue crying. So ಅಳಕಂತ್ರು ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು, I headed back to library, prepared for. I didn't prepare for KS mains because I felt if I put a lot of time, prelims will be very. It will be a dangerous adventure, because hardly 15-20 days is a very small time. I think prelims, we know, as I've again said, ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದವ್ರು ಅಂದರಿದ್ರು, it is a new, completely different ball game. And so I decided to go for prelims. Again, wrote a lot of tests. Even in that span, I wrote 35 tests, because I knew that only that would work for me. That has worked for me. I did a lot of revision, at least 2 revisions in that span, and again wrote a lot of tests. Lot of my peers, friends, even last year, Dr. Sachin, he was my interview friend. He also said, like, you should take a break, because this was going to be a very suicidal mission if you, because last attempt, hardly 25 days. I don't think so it's a right, wise decision. I think some of my other mentors and even my father was very adamant for me to attempt this. He said, you have to write this, because you will lose that momentum, whatever you have gained for mains interview. So you will get that advantage. So that changed, and I said, okay, I will take this, and I wrote my prelims. And I was not very confident when I wrote, because while writing I was confident. When in that break between GS and prelims, GS and CSET, some of the my wife was with me. So we were discussing e question gain mark madidi, and almost she asked me 5 or 6 questions, and I had got all of them wrong. So now I was feeling, just imagine, this is between the break. Now that is the kind of pressure I went, and I think that is when she also stopped, and I also stopped it. Then went to CSET. I did my CSET well, but somewhere I was not feeling confident. I checked the ಅವತ್ತು ಸಂಜೆ ತನಕ ಮಲ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೀಸ್, provisional answer keys coming out from all the coaching institutes. Then I did that. In that midnight only I was able to take a score, and I was getting somewhere around 95 plus, 90 to 95. That was again a very borderline. It was a very risky move, and I was already regretting my decision. But somehow I felt I should just go ahead, and I went to Delhi. Actually, I had put my main center here, but I just went to Delhi for preparation. That was the first time, only with respect to preparation, I got to Delhi only in that attempt, that phase. That 2.5 to 3 months is what is my Delhi preparation. So I went there. We went 5 people there. 4 out of 5 are in the final list. So we went there, did a lot of answer writing. We were that same peer group, and I was sitting in my library. That is when June of 7th the result came, and everyone is searching. I am not searching, because I know something is going to be wrong. I was just delaying my guilt, delaying my anxiety, and finally just one, but there was no one to search. I had to search. So now that thought also came, if I search, I will not be there. So I slowly was searching 030954, and I put, there was only one guy, like 541 was there. No celebration, nothing, full nirvana. I just locked my like I just sat quite like full nirvana enlightenment moment, no celebration needed. So I just continued studying, and then half an hour later, I called my father, wife, sister, etc. I just said, I cleared this. Then again, they also were okay, happy. Then I just continued for those 2.5 to 3 months, and I think that is where I think this rank happened. AR 53 happened in that moment because it was not precisely in interview or prelims. It was here in mains, because that is where I was missing a lot of marks. So I went actually all guns blazing. This was my last attempt. I had nothing to lose. I had taken a 3 months leave. I went like mad. Like I wrote 953 answers that year, and a lot of inspiration came from Rangamanju last year. So rank 24. So he had mentioned that he had written around 850 answers. So that gave me a push that if someone has humanly done it in his last attempt, it was also his last attempt. So that gave me a push that I can also do it. So, and I felt this is the only mantra for good marks in mains. So because all my foundation is there, I'm writing the basic answers, but somewhere I had not done a lot of answer writing. So I go berserk. I write 953 answers. Because of the peer group that we had, we were also very in that same kind of spirit. We all had like one interview, two mains, at least that experience, that veteran group we had. So we were in that same mindset, same positive spirit. I gave my everything in those 2.5 months. I did a 3 test iteration, like writing 3 tests a day. I did 2 iterations of that. So 9 hours of writing. So I just didn't care for anything. And somehow God was just blessing me with good mindset and good physical health, because Delhi environment and that kind of preparation needs a lot of good health also, and somewhere I think God gave me that. So, I did that. I come back 2 days before the mains. I come to Bengaluru and I write my mains. Again, I completed all my papers, everything, but somewhere that I did something extraordinary that didn't feel. It was just nothing dramatic, very normal. Come back because another 2 days later I have to join my work back. So I go to my work for two. I am put to the census, the caste survey by the state government. So I am on that duty. Somewhere that 2 months get over. Then mains results happened in November 11 only, I guess November. So again. Someone my wife searched, or I don't remember. Yes, no, my friend had searched. Aditya T had searched my name, and again, because this was my last attempt, this was my last mains. So if the process could end here and I'm out, this is the end. So he searched my name and it was like there, the number was there. I get again no celebration, nothing, nirvana moment. So I give him a small treat and I head back home. Again, now all have is this final phase of UPSC. My UPSC journey. This is the final phase, the interview 2025. This is the last thing I can do with respect to UPSC. So somewhere I was also attached to this process so much that I loved this exam. I was very passionate about this exam. It had become a part of my identity. So letting go of this exam, that fear that I will not end up in the final list, and again that the trauma of April 22 was coming back, and I felt if everything goes wrong, I think this is the end for me. This is the end of my UPSC journey. That was haunting a lot. More than the failure, I didn't want it to leave this exam. So much attached to this exam. I gave my interview on February 12th. And interestingly, not interestingly, but very pathetically, I thought all my bad luck is gone now, but God is like, wait, I'll show my last final charm at you. And on the day of exam, I had taken 10 days leave and went to Delhi. I was staying in my friend's room in Karol Bagh, in the ORN. 10-11 days, there was absolutely no problem for me. On the day of exam, morning session, I wake up at 5:30 and I turn on the tap. There's no water. This is on the interview day. And he's panicking now because he actually knew it at 4:30 and he was not telling me. And when he was roaming around the room across the house, I was feeling something is wrong. This guy is not telling me. I have to mention him, Amar Zandekar. He's my close friend. I think I've never seen Amar that tensed because that was my interview day. And I turn on the tap. There's no, absolutely not even a drop of water is there. Thanks to Delhi Jal Board, they had cut the water lines on that just a few hours ago. Now this is 5:36 a.m. in the morning, and we are literally running around OR and Karol Bagh on a scooty, on a two-wheeler. 3 people of us finding a bathroom with water. One person is carrying my suit, one person is carrying my utilities, and we are finding a room. So somehow we found 2 of his juniors in another nearby area. I take bath in some stranger's room on my interview day, on my final attempt. I think nothing could get worse. This, like, even at that moment, I was just smiling and looking at God. Really, like, why? Yet ಮಾಡಿದೇನ ಅಂತ ನಿನಗೆ ಅಂತ, like why this test? ಯಾಕೆ ಮುಖನಾದೆ? Then but somehow I was fortunate to find those 2 people, very sweet people. They gave. And who gets up at 5:36? I was knocking at their door with my friends, and they were very open, friendly. I get ready there. Then one person is getting me breakfast and newspaper. I'm just reading it, and then I head back to Shah Jahan Road, UPSC, Dolpur House, finally, and just in time, very much on time. And I was the first candidate to on that day, so the last option I had was take bath in UPSC itself. Then I go around 9 o'clock, we get in, document verification happens, and 10 a.m. I was called. Now, you must have watched in the 12th fail exam, there's a semicircular courtyard there is, and we have different names. And I was hoping like Suman Sharma ma'am should not be there, because that was the board for that day, and usually attender will be there. He'll take you and he'll ask us to stop. I'm going around the corner, and there is Suman Sharma board. I can see it. I'm just hoping that he does not ask me to stop here. And I am very reluctant and said, no sir, आगे बढ़िए next room के. So Suman Sharma ma'am illa anta khushi ade. Then somehow Sanjay Verma board was there. I was personally, like, nothing against any board, but it's a friendly board relatively. So I go back and go inside, gave my interview, 30 minutes. It was completely different interview experience this time. No DAF, nothing. It was just commonsensical, on the spot kind of questions. They took me by surprise. They ragged me. They made fun. They were in a very good mood, and they all did that. And the chairman at the end was like, Kiran, your interview is over. I am not ready to go. I am like, I'm just sticking there. Kiran, your interview is over. It repeats again. Like, now I reluctantly get up and I was walking. He had that poker face. It was like absolutely no expression. Remember Shilvardhan? Full smile. ಭಾಳ ಚಲೋ ಸರ್ ಅದಾರ, ನಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಳ್ಸ್ಯಾರ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡತ್ತಾನ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದೆ. Absolutely no expression. Then I was also not comfortable, not very happy. I called my dad and said, I'm not very happy with this. I think this is not going to work out, I'll get very average marks, and if that happens I think my chances are bleak. So ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನು ಹೋಪ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ just roamed around, went back. Next day medical time finished, then come back to Bengaluru because work was continuing. Now Feb 12 finished, 13 over, we're back, and the result happened on March 6, 2:30, because entire year there was this mahal, insiders UPSC the siren ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ this result will come ಅಂತ. And already one ವಾರದಿಂದ like it was not feeling good. This was the last PDF file I will ever open with respect to UPSC. So I had told the same guy Amar that please ನೀನು ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ನಂದಂತರೂ ನನಗಾಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೀದಾ ಇಶ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗಂತರೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ವೈಫಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಲೋಚನೆಯಾಗ, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೀನಾದ್ರೂ ನೋಡುವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಕೆ ನೀನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿದಿ, ನನಗಂತರೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಲೀವ್ ಮಿ ಅಲೋನ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಶೀ ಈಸ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್. ಆಕೆ ಅಂತೂ ನೋಡತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು ಇವ ಒಬ್ಬ ಉಳ್ದ ಅಮರ್, ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಶಿಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. he was very excited, like ನಾ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಭಾಯ್, ನೀವು ಇರ್ತೀರಿ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ನಾಗ, ನಾ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಆಯ್ತು ಓಕೆ ಅಂತ ನಾ ಶಂಗ್ರೀಲಾ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ನಾಗ ದಟ್ ಡೇ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್, 1 day ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗಿಂದ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ತನಕ ಮೊಹಾಲ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸೆಟ್. 6th of March, scrolling the website, refreshing time and again, looking for all the updates by insiders on various Telegram groups. And lunch break aita, still no updates. Then I was really panicking. Literally every 2 minutes I was opening my phone, checking, and even my seniors were like, very disgusting behavior. Noda, he's not paying attention to the training, nothing. So but I had irritated him, I knew I was irritating them. And finally I shut my data off and go to lunch. I didn't wanted to do it. Bandag barli, I just don't care now. Then I just took some starters, at least I'll have some nice lunch at Shangri-La. Adu aglila. Suddenly I received call from my wife, Lochna. She told she will not check. So I was at least check result ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಆರಾಮ್ ಎತ್ತಿ ಹೆಲೋ ಅನ್ನತ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶೀ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್. ಪಾಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಭಾಳ ಜನ ಇದಾರೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ, ಫೇಲ್ ಆದಾಗ ಯಾರು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈಕೆ ಒಬ್ಬಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಐ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್, ಆಕಿ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಕಿ ಹತ್ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್, ಓಕೆ ದಿಸ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಮುಗೀತು, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್, UPSC ಜರ್ನಿ ಇಸ್ ಗಾನ್, ಎಂಡ್ ಮುಗೀತು, ಪ್ಯಾಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ಸ್, ಗೋ ಹೋಮ್. ಶೀ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 minutes ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ. ನನಗೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಆಕಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡತ್ತೀನಿ. ಆಯಿತು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡುವ, ಏನೋ ಆಯ್ತು, ನೌಕರಿ ಐತಿ, ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್, ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ, ಲೈಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಗ್ ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಕೂಡ ಆತೀನಿ. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಡ್, ಓಕೆ, ದ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಂಪರಾಮೆಂಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಲೋ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಜಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಅಂತ ನಾನು. ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ 53 ಅಂದ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನನಗೆ ಆಕಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಬಿಕೆನ ಬರತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಶೀಸ್ ಮೈ ವೈಫ್, ಬಟ್ ಅವತ್ತು ನಂಬಿಕೆನ ಬರತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಆಕಿನ ಮ್ಯಾಗ. ಐ ವಾಸ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ತಡಿ, ನೀ ಇಡ್ ಫೋನ, ನೀ ಏನೇನೋ ಹೇಳಾಕತ್ತಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಡ್ ಫೋನು, ನಾನು ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಅಂತ. PDF ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಬಿಡತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ದೋಸ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂತು. ಅವ ಅಮರ್, ದಟ್ ಗೈ, ಅವ ಫೈನಲ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ, ಏನು ಸರ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ. ಏನು ಹೊಡೆದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ, 53 ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಂತಂದ. ಸೊ ಇವ್ನು ನಂಬ್ಲು ಈಕಿನ ನಂಬ್ಲು ಏನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗತ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವನು ನಂಬಲಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಮೂಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ. ಅಗೇನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ PDF, ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಬಂದು ಫೋನ್. ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅವಾಗೇನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಫೋನ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫೋನ್ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಟುಕ್ ಮಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 25 minutes ಟು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ದ PDF ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮೈ ನೇಮ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರೀ ಫೋನಾಗೆ ಹೇಳತ್ತಾರೆ 53 ಅಂತ. ದೆನ್ ಓಕೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾ ಐ ಕಾಲ್ ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್. Finally that son-father moment has arrived. Remember, I had made that promise that I'll make you, father, give me one chance. One chance, 6 chance convert. Finally, ಏನೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, some dramatic shit will happen ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. Nothing is happening. ನಾನು ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮಗ IAS ಆಗ್ಯಾನ ನೋಡು ಅಂತ. ಅವ್ರ ಏನು ಹೇಳತ್ತೀನಿ ನೀನದ, IAS ಆಗ್ಯಾನ ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿ ಅಂದೆ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನಾರು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡ, PDF ಕಳ್ಸ, ನಾನೇ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರು. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ ಅಂತಂದು ಫೈನಲಿ ಅವರೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಓಡೋಗಿ, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಲಂಚ್, ಸೊ ಹಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಹೋಮ್, ಹಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಆಫೀಸ್. ಟಿಪಿಕಲ್ principal behavior. Printout, got the printout, saw, marked the date, highlighted my name, then sent that, yes beta you have cleared ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳತ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. So that was that moment which I was waiting, like, to tell my father, to share it to my father. And I think that is what had driven me all this process. I just wanted it to do it for me. And finally it happened, AIR 53. And a few minutes later I got to know that I'm also the state topper. So this is like what I was expecting. List nag ಹೆಸರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಸರು ನಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. God gave me, and God showed what he can do. And I think all that prayers, all that temple run, all that happened. Countless gods have prayed every day, almost that entire final attempt, every single day I've prayed to God. I think that is what it does. I think UPSC humbles you, UPSC breaks you, UPSC from atheist to a very spiritual religious person, it makes you. ಕೈತಿ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕೈತಿ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ನಾಗ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕುಂಕುಮ ಹಚ್ಕೊತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬಂಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಬೇಕನ್ನ ಅಂತ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್, ನಾನು ನಂಬಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಟೈಮ್ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ, you will also apply. I was like, that happens, and I think that will happen. Till that, have faith, keep working hard. Why I told all this journey was, it was not just about myself, because AR 53 is what appears now, but there was a lot of sacrifice, lot of failures, setbacks, bad luck, all of that. And then came AR 53, and I think no one expects to be in the top rank. If anyone is saying that, I think they're truly not telling the truth, because yaru nan ishte rank bartini, I will be IAS, yaru expect madala. Even especially with respect to me, I was very I had made this worst case scenario, middle case scenario, best case scenario. Even my best case scenario was somewhere around 100, middle case 200, top 200, worst case like last rank, and the obvious, not finding the name. And this time mains ಒಳಗೆ there was only one Kiran, like mains result list ಒಳಗೆ Kiran was only one. So I told even Amar or others who are searching, if you type Kiran and there is one of one, that is me. So I think that is the kind of script God writes. He gave me 6 Kirans in that list, but not one Kiran Kamte. But here he gave just one Kiran Kamte, and that was me. So I think that is the kind of that is what faith can do, that is what hard work can do. It's not just about hard work, luck, etc. I wanted to tell this because you need a lot of other factors as well. Very hard work, etc. I was of the mindset that only hard work will clear. I'll work hard and I'll just get the result. No, this exam has a lot of factors coming in. All those have to fall in place. Don't know, you turn on the tap and there's no water. You will have that moment as well. So this is the kind of exam, this is lot of factors. So I will very honestly accept that luck has its role, fortune has its role. You need the right kind of people around you, and I think that is when ultimately you reach that phase. You need God's grace. So I've been very lucky, very fortunate. Yes, I've worked hard. I worked hard for 6 years. My library was inside above Girias, near Atigope station. I think that I had made it my home. I used to love going to my library. I think that is where I was most peaceful. That is where I was most very happy around my books, around my preparation. I think ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು there was just only one place I would say, Attigobe metro station, Insights. So that is how attached I was with Insights library. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And this was my story. I'll just take a small break. We'll do some interaction with respect to your queries, some answer writing tips, whatever doubts that you have. Some of my things that worked well for me, I'll share it with you. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll drink some water and I'll join you soon. Continue. इधर okay, now where do I start? I think mains was the jump I made, 737 last year, the main score, to 816 this time. So that was the jump I made. Interview 171 last year to 195 this year. So that's the another jump I made. Essay got dipped last year 124, this year 115. So this is my marks. Now I'll just open the session for lot of queries. We'll take a lot of questions. I think that is what will be more helpful. So you can start off with any queries.
ಸೊ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್.
Yes.
ನಾನು ಬೆಳಗಾವಿಯಿಂದಾನೆ, ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡು, ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
Very nice.
ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಡೌಟ್ ಏನಂದರೆ, ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಮು. ಲೈಕ್ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇವ್ರು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮೇನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್. Like I will be listening to the classes. I'm offline student, so I will be coming to offline and I will be listening the classes, but I won't get to prepare something. Like whatever taught in the class, I won't get much time to prepare, go home and prepare that whatever taught in the class. Only Saturday Sundays will be there and early morning will be there. So currently I'm traveling from Electron City to here, so 2 hours will be gone. Coming 2 hours, night 11 or 11:30 will I'll reach home. So after that schedule will be closed. Like I won't be having much energy after that to study. ಸೊ ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವಾಗ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ನಾನು ಡೈಲಿ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ದಟ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್?
First of all, more power to you because you're preparing with job, and more power, even more because you're traveling from Electronic City and coming here. So with respect to, like now you're doing a foundation course here.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್.
So till foundation is over, I don't think you will have enough time, because as of now your only aim should be to finish foundation course in entirety, attend all the classes, make all the notes, write all the weekly tests that they conduct, revise whatever that is taught in the class. This should be your aim, not anything beyond this, because you do not have that scope. So try to just focus on foundation course as of now. You are able to manage the foundation course at least, like with
Yes,
respect to
yes.
complete. So that is what I would advise. Do that much now. Revise them, whatever in like weekends you get, leaves you get, try to revise it thoroughly. And all the weekly classroom tests that they do, you attend that. And I think that ultimately you should have short-term goals. You cannot, because you're a working professional, you cannot do what exactly the full-time aspirants are doing. That is not possible. So as of now, just focus on foundation course, do all the tests. Once if you are done with, when you're done with the foundation and you're giving your prelims, you're giving this attempt?
Yes, I'm
You're
giving.
giving, you just give a try at it, but next prelims, by the time when you're done with foundation, etc., then I think you should take at least a month break before the prelims, or at least 15-20 days before the prelims. And once you clear prelims, you have to put leave. There is no alternative to that. You have to put leave and go for mains. So till then, manage your leaves wisely. Apart from that, whatever time you are getting, use it judiciously. Cut down all the social life that you have to. And because you're preparing parallelly with your partner, I think that is a bigger blessing, because you will be in the same kind of mindset. So that would be my suggestion. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Namaste, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is relating to PSR optional, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Means, how did you do value addition? Means, for what extent did you use AI for value addition? And second question is regarding bouncer questions in PSR optional, sir. How did you deal with this? Means, you left the question, or did you use your knowledge and did you write the question, sir?
Okay. Answering to the first question, use of AI in PSR in general mains. For mains, I've used a lot of ChatGPT. And I think that is one phase of UPSC where you will get a lot of advantage, value addition from ChatGPT. In terms of value addition with respect to PSIR, what I had done beyond ChatGPT, I think that was only supplementary thing. What I did was I prepared 3 lists. One was paper specific keywords, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. I had made a lot of keywords, subject specific keywords. Then an exhaustive list of quotations that came in the political science. Then third list was the authors or thinkers and their works. This I had made the notes from the notes I had referred and other sources. Make these 3 lists first from your notes itself, and whatever additional reading you will be doing. So do these first. Then comes ChatGPT. ChatGPT comes when I used to write PSIR in my 5C approach. So I would give the context, then the content, then compare and critique. This is my 3rd C. Then 4th was contemporary relevance, and then conclusion. This is applicable to all optionals. You can try and write answers in this 5C approach. And that is when, especially for 15 and 20 marker, this 5C approach will be very handy. Then with respect to ChatGPT, I used to upload my answers, or even I given a prompt of this 5C to ChatGPT, and I trained the GPT. So now whatever question PSIR especially whatever questions I would throw at it, it would answer in this format, in this framework itself. So even my it's not like ChatGPT is doing something and I am also doing some another thing. I and even ChatGPT are thinking in the same way. I had made it to think the way I wanted it to. So this is how you have to train, because ChatGPT is endless. You can get innumerable inputs, but if you're not able to use it, if you're not able to utilize it to your strengths and weaknesses, then it is useless. It will not be of any help. So train it in the way you want. I would also scan my answers and put it to upload it and ask it to evaluate it like a UPSC examiner. So it would highlight what is the good things, what are things that I am lacking, what are the value addition. And one more addition prompt I would give is, any answer, I would ask it, just do whatever value addition, etc., extra value addition that you can do only to this existing answer or the synopsis. Do some value addition with respect to current scenario, contemporary relevance. So separately I used to do it for another set. So this is how I used ChatGPT. I think foundation has to come first, answer writing, then value addition through ChatGPT. This should be the pattern, not the other way around. Second was about?
How did you deal with bouncer questions, sir?
Bouncer question. PSIR usually this time around there were not a lot of bouncer, except in paper 2 there was this question on woman movement, the red lipsticks movement, yes, feminine movement, that was in news. I was not aware that it was in news. but I just knew that it would come from this. At least it is a part of woman movements topic. So I did not leave it. That was the last answer I wrote. It was 10 markers, so 2 pages. I just wrote 1 page there because that was the last question I was not left with lot of time. So I just wrote something around it related to woman movement, and I just predicted that it might be something related to electoral voting rights, etc. So I wrote it. I don't know how much I must have got for that answer, but you need to write something because you cannot just leave and come around, and because of so much of cumulative knowledge you would end up writing some or the other thing. Just try to stay relevant, that's it. That would be my suggestion, but don't leave empty. Either at least 1 or 2 paragraphs, just write something. That would be helpful, but make up for other questions as well, because you've left this now. You had that time allocated and distributed across other questions now, so utilize that time well for the other questions. So do give that extra bit of effort for other answers, and I think that is where the balancing act happens.
Hello sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, my name is Prahlad sir. This could be my third attempt sir.
Okay.
Around 58, 59 days are left to prelims sir. So sir, what should be my strategy for these 50 to 58 days
50,
sir?
60 days.
Yeah, 60 days. And how should I divide the subject? And what should be my approach sir? And a model strategy sir for these 60 days sir?
See, I've mentioned it earlier. What worked for me was a lot of tests, but those tests came only when I had done a lot of revision of my static portion. So static portion has to be devoted maximum time of your per day, whatever time you are reading. The 75-80% of time has to go for that static revision. Even with 60 days, I think you should be able to cover at least once, and it will be very good if you are able to at least do a second revision, at least skim through for the second revision. So if you do this first and then couple it with a lot of tests, at least 2 tests per week starting from now, and last preceding 2-3 weeks you should just go all in and write at least 3 tests per day, per week, and do a lot of analysis. Writing tests is one part. Don't take this out of context and just go blindly writing all the tests. When it takes 2 hours to write the test, take a break. On if you write it in the morning, study the entire day, then when 3 to 4 hours you just completely give only to analyze what mistakes you have done. Go through the synopsis and your own question paper, jot down all the, first understand what is the wrong questions you have got, what are the questions you have left unattempted, then wrong, then the correct ones. So these two, the first 2 are very important, the unattempted and wrong one, because this is where your score was brought down. So first, unattempted means that you have absolutely no idea with respect to those questions. So when you're reading the synopsis and doing it well, now you're covering that concept. So that concept is ticked. Now next time that concept comes, it should not be it can be a wrong one, but it should not be an unattempted one, because we've already dealt here now. So that is what I would focus. Secondly, with all the questions that you've got wrong, do a separate analysis, like why it went wrong. Were they conceptually wrong, that you knew the concepts and still you got them wrong? Were they just silly mistakes that you failed to observe some bold words like not or increase, decrease, correct, wrong, all that words, keywords? So were they for that, or it was just you had taken a blind guess and it turned out wrong? So you make those distinction and then work individually on those questions. This would be my second suggestion. With respect to third, like do PYQs. After completing one subject, write one sectional test and open a YouTube video of 10 to 15 years of PYQs. Then start practicing. Like you start the video, you pause the video first. When the question appears, try to solve it, and then play and listen to the explanation. It can be any video, any institute, do it. I would not recommend the old school way of doing a compilation and like the booklet you get. I would not recommend it. This has played well for me. So these 3 things: revision, tests, analysis, and PYQs.
So, sir,
Yes.
one more question, sir. Sir, can you give at least 4 important subjects, sir, weightage wise to cover in the first
It is
go?
the obvious that the Indian polity, it has to be there. Economy, it has to be there. These two, if you are able to, I think these two are the subjects that will almost take you to the 70-80% of the cutoff. Thereafter, it is just like just clearing and getting another two subjects for reaching that cutoff, and another two subjects for getting that extra leverage beyond the cutoff. So if you are able to, and always irrespective of the category you are in, always think of 100, achieving 100. Take the exemption that you get through reservation, just take it out of context. Always try to attempt like 90 odd questions or 85 to 90. Now always try to aim and try to get around 100 marks. You don't worry about your category cutoff, etc. You are just going as an unreserved candidate aiming for 100. You should aim for maximization and not optimization. So go for maximization, try to score 100 plus, because once you're in that space, you will not waste the remaining 12-13 days what is left after the prelims till the results. You can utilize it completely for mains, because those 12-13 days will feel like hell if you are on the border and not able to clear. So you will waste a lot of time. So this would be, so in polity, economy, geography, and history, like modern history, yes, but it is decreasing. I would still say history as a whole. So polity, economy, history, and geography.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good morning. My question is, first you were like 11 answers per 3 hours, like when you initially started mains preparation. How will you increase your speed in answer writing, and how many tests to cover that answer writing? And we go like more average answers are better than best answers. So we have this notion in preparation. So how will you overcome that? How will you strategize answer writing throughout the preparation?
With respect to answer writing, it is going to be only incremental changes. Unlike prelims, where you do a lot of revision, you can see results even the very next day or in 10 days later or 2 weeks later. But for mains, I think it is a long drawn process. It is going to be incremental. And first, to identify weaknesses, you have to write your answers first. So first write answers, then you will understand what is actually wrong. Is it a recalling ability that you're missing out? Is it handwriting? Is it finishing the paper, or is it value addition? So that is when you will identify, and this is different for different candidates. So first write answers first, irrespective of for those 3 hours, just give it like as if you are writing. And initially what I used to do is I would not actually write within the 3 hours space. I would just count till 3 hours whatever number of questions I would write, let's say 11-12. Thereafter also I would take that extra 1.5 hour to finish the paper. So I would always finish the paper. That would be my initial days, like before the mains. So finishing paper is something I would focus irrespective of the time. Now I'm not taking time into consideration. So only when you have written answers that you will understand, and once you get it evaluated, you will identify what is things you are lacking. Because sometimes what happens, first of all, there is no perfect answer, because in that time crunch, in that less reaction time, you have to read the question, structure it, then write it in a good legible handwriting, then also conclude it very well. So this should happen for 7.5 minutes for 10 marker and 11.5 for 15 marker. So only once you are writing, you will understand what are the gaps in your answer writing. Then comes the course correction. Now let's say, as if for me it was like not finishing the paper, and for most it will be not finishing the paper. So for that to happen, again, we have to bring in some changes. For example, one tends to write only in points, like there's no schematic representation, there is no diagrams, there is no value addition or any like small diagram, schematic represent, etc. Now once you are doing that, I think there also you'll be saving a lot of time. And secondly, for 15 marker, you do not have to write all the 3 pages end to end. Like even if you have written good content, you can end it at 2.5 page. So what I would typically do is, especially for GS3 science and tech, I was not very comfortable. Means no matter how well you prepare, there will be some bouncer question in Science and Tech GS3. So I made it a point that for GS3 Science and Tech, I will write only 2.5 pages. So that actually helped. And third reason I would tell is identifying the explicit demand. Now that can be actually, basically you are breaking down the question. You are identifying what is the demand. You are writing an intro. You identified the demand. You break that down and write, and then you are almost about to complete. Then there's some page left. Now what you can do is identify an implicit demand. That is not something asked. Let's say there is a question that has ended in a negative sense, like terrorism question, and it is challenges to India, etc., etc. Now it has ended in challenges. It does not mean that you have to write and leave it open and end it with just challenges to India. You have to identify the implicit demand here was what is that India can do way forward. So what are the measures India has taken? So this is the implicit demand you have created for yourself. If you do that for all the question, at least most of the question, I think paper completion will not be a difficult task because you know how to fill the papers now. And also if there are 2 to 3 demands in a single question, first page I would write in points. Second demand I would write in schematics, the hub and spoke and the schema. Then the third page again I used to write in points. Now wherever the content was less, I used more schematic because that would take a lot of space and also feel like you're not deliberately trying to fill pages. So use of schematics, use good of points. Let's say there's a very comfortable topic and that you are given with. Now don't use schematic there because you have a lot of knowledge. Go all in, write a lot of points there, put everything. So do a lot of this. For geography you can use a lot of because geography questions are usually very technical and there you cannot beat around bush a lot there because you tell this is the process and the answer gets completed. You cannot just write extra there. So for that I think there I used a lot of word maps, India maps, mapping, something that would help, that would cover the space, and this is what I would so I also add a lot of implicit demand. So this is okay. And ultimately it's more of practice because there is absolutely no replacement for hard work. There is no replacement for consistency. You have to keep writing. You have written 11, you write the next, make sure. Just the belief and that consciousness will ultimately take you. Because first time you are writing, I said I was not in that rush to finish the paper. My target was only to write and enjoy, at least begin answer writing. Thereafter I slowly understood that I should complete at least 15, then 16. It was always incremental. You cannot have the best of your aims at the initial stage itself. It has to be incremental. 15 first, 16, 17, then naturally it will come. You will be stuck around for 19 for a long time. Then that will happen where like in that exam process you will reach that 20. Probably even before mains, just in that gap you might not finish the paper, but trust me, on the day of the exam God will give you a lot of energy and you will finish 20. So till then just keep practicing. Don't leave out any question. You will not leave. You will somehow make it clear and you will complete the paper. Till then have faith, keep working hard. Yes.
My question is recently with the word which you mentioned, consistency. So most of the people aspire to have consistency in their life, but the thing is we lack in terms of motivation. So let's say I've been preparing for this exam consistently for 30 days. Then again, next 30 days, I'll be not having the same consistency which I'm supposed to have. But in your case, it was not like that. You are consistently preparing for this exam. So what kind of internal motivation that you had while preparing?
See, first of all, we need motivation to come to this exam because without motivation, I think this exam you will not survive barely like even a month here. Because for years, if you are still surviving and hanging in there, I think it is all because everyone has their own kind of motivation. And that tends to get dissipated over time, as you've mentioned. It happened to me as well. But I think it is important to, it's very easy to say stay motivated. I would not just say at that end, but the thing is, you should have that clear understanding as to why I am doing civil services, why I came here. So that purpose of why I choose this career choosing to, spend years of my youth in this exam, where when I could have just settled around in private jobs or other public works as well. So why this? So that purpose of having clarity of thought over why I want to do civil services is something. In my case, I was very clear. It was something I wanted to do it for my father. I was very explicitly clear that this is something that will actually make him feel proud. So I was doing it. Growing up, I actually had a lot of understanding and of this exam, and I felt, okay, what all I can contribute to society through civil services. So that goal was clear. I wanted to contribute because I was growing up, my father made sure that he made sure that I grow up with values that are that are more valuable to society, where I can contribute to society. It was never about you personally, individual settlement, like you make money, you get a car, bungalow, etc., you settle, have a nice package, take a foreign tour. That is not something he has ever told me. It was always about public service values, whatever you read in ethics. I had that growing up. So that always had that in my back of my mind. So that is what drove me. And that is what I say, that purpose, clarity of purpose is essential, because if you're coming here with the thought of that I will get a lot of authority, power, etc., the perks, if that is driving you to this, I think that motivation will drop. But your motivation is public service, that something related to your parents, that you want to do this for your family, parents, etc., that you have seen this dream for yourself. And that is when I think, in spite of all the failures, in spite of all the demotivation, you will still be able to do it, because you will not look at all those failure setbacks in a negative sense. The one with an artificial motivation will look at the failures in the sense, he will start making excuses. Then parents will consider, ನನ್ನ friends ಜೊತೆ ಬೆನ್ನತ್ತು ಬಂದೆ ನಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗಾದೆ. So all that excuses, all the negative, all the failures will turn into excuses, and you will always find reasons putting at others. But if you're self-driven, you will own up your failures. You will see that, okay, this was not good enough, I have to be better, this is not going to work now. So you will try to push yourself. And when you're doing that, when you're owning up your mistakes, and I think that is where the actual progress happens, and that is where your true motivation will actually translate into results. So having that clarity of purpose, motivation is important. And of course, this exam is going to be long. Even with all that clarity, you might feel at certain stage like this is not not going anywhere. So I would not be very optimistic and say clarity of thought, you will survive in this exam. No, you will have your bad days, but even in those bad days, at least try to push yourself, that even in your bad days you are still thinking about this exam. I think that is what will separate you from the rest. So your worst days also, you are just like, okay, it is getting bad, but I'll still be able to do, I'll push myself, and I'll take a small break, but I'll come back here itself. So that constant motivation will ultimately push you and get you results.
Good morning,
with your
sir.
permission, with your permission, I will be asking a little bit personal question. Sir, as you mentioned that you met your wife at Insights IAS, so maybe someone's questions as well, this one. So most of the people have a perception that if they get into relationship, probably they'll be running far away from the syllabus as well. So even after facing a number of failures, madam came into your life as well. So how you felt that situation? So
Very tricky. Like, interview was much easier. See, relationships, you have to also understand, we'll just have a very frank talk here, because I'm not your parent or your relatives, you can speak. See, this is going to be, because we're kind of journey that we are taking in, UPSC drives anyone very lonely. It drives you into the, like, you tend to become very lonely. It will get a lot pessimistic, and I said, like, that is, and also the kind of age we are in. You're just graduating and you're coming here, so it is very natural. See, relationship, like, old days you cannot do. In before, in school it is wrong, then when is it right? right? I think this is the age to fall in love, and I think if someone is able to love you even when you're not able to offer anything, and I think that is the kind of purest love, and that is what I've been very lucky, very fortunate to receive that kind of love, because all I had to tell her was my only sad stories, just the setbacks. I was never that optimistic person, always looking at things in a very negative shade, that things are only going bad, the world is going to end. All so in that, even in spite of all, when I had nothing to offer but just pain and sorrow, I think she came and she gave that, she confided in me and said, even because uh, even when I said that I don't know if I'll settle down, so I don't know when it'll take, but I want to do this. So she had said that no matter if you clear this exam, if you clear this exam, very good. If you even do not clear, I'll still be with you. So that is the day I decided that once I settle down, I'll marry this girl. So in spite of clearing my government job, getting that, I was very happy and with her. So that is when I told my parents, and that's a different story to tell, because again that was a different struggle. But somehow they came around, and that is when I decided, okay, because for a girl who has seen so my dreams through her life as well, who has just supported me, put all her love, faith behind me, and I think that's the least I could do. And I married the love of my life, and very fortunate. So relationships aren't bad, but if you are able to use it in a very positive sense, if you're able to grow together, I think that will be a force multiplier. Because then that times, as one of my friends says, 1 + 1 is not 2, it becomes 11, so it gets multiplied. You have that kind of support. And so that would be my answer, like if you find the right person, nothing wrong, but stay faithful, stay loyal, work, see this dream together. So nothing hangante ellaru iga Mat Vinay sir will be regretting why I called this. So yes, if you find anyone, go ahead, but don't leave her. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
So my name is Bhumika Ramesh, and I have also, sorry, it's good afternoon.
No issues.
My name is Bhumika Ramesh, and I have also done my civil engineering. And post that, I did my master's in climate science and policy. After that, I worked for a brief period. But I just wanted to know, how is it that you have stayed, like an extension to the question that you already asked, how is it that you stayed motivated for 6 years into 365 days when it is almost very much trembling for me to even stay motivated for 1 year in this exam without a job? Right, I left my job. I was working in carbon markets. I left that job just to prepare for this exam. And I have been preparing for the last 3 years actually.
Okay.
But I haven't given even one attempt because of my health issues, and also because I'm scared of failure.
Okay.
So
It's okay.
how do you basically maintain the mental health of one person holistically when you're preparing for an exam like this? Because you also said you have attached this exam with your sense of self-worth and identity.
Yes.
Which I think is a little bit detrimental to an aspirant.
Very detrimental.
So what would you like to tell about
just
this?
because I cleared, I'm sitting here. Maybe in Nippons I would be there if the result had gone other way. So yes, it would be detrimental. But answering very seriously to that, you said you're scared of failure. See, we all are. It's not just you. So first of all, don't worry about that. We are all scared. But somewhere we have to outgrow it, because we'll outgrow it only when you take that exam. And I always felt that the moment you are thinking a lot about the output, you're thinking about what to do, and just not and looking it at a distance, it feels more scarier. But once you actually take up that challenge and do it, it will not be that difficult. So we suffer more in our head than in reality. So my advice would be to, yes, it is difficult, it will be scary, but at least attempt it. Be in that process. Only when you are in that process that you will forget your fear and then come out of it. Then you will realize, okay, this was actually not that scarier. It was just appearing very scarier from the front. So you have to first jump into the well. Only then you will realize that you have that ability to come out. Till then you cannot just look at it and say, I am scared. So you have to go in. At some point we have to, that would be my answer. Second, again, as I said earlier, we need a lot of clarity of thought. Only then we can sustain. You left your job and you are preparing. Yes, that's a good thing. You're prepared now. 2 to 3 years you've put now? 2 to 3 years you've prepared now?
Yes, sir.
You give 1 or 2 attempts hereafter, and if it is not translating into any successful result, and that is when I will tell you to take up a plan B, irrespective of you, even to others. Always plan for plan B once after your second or third attempt. I think 2 to 3 years is a very good chance. If you are failing to make any good attempt, then I think you should slowly try to take up a plan B. It need not be a completely a new job. It can be somewhere something related to your graduation or any small part-time job, but that will actually help you and give you a push, because now you're not too scared about failing because you have something to fall back. So plan B actually helps in that sense, because you remove that baggage. Now you are free. Now what are you thinking of? Only the examination. So that is what plan B does. People tend to mistake that plan B, if plan B is there, I'll get deviated from the objective. But once you have plan B, you have nothing to worry but just your the UPSC objective. So I felt that with plan B, all my successful attempts have actually come with plan B, after plan B. So it tends to relieve a lot of baggage. Now you are left, once you are done with the job, with all the time you have left, although it is a limited one, but all you are thinking is only with UPSC. You are not too worried about failure. You are not worried about career, because already you have somewhat managed it. And there is only one way going now. It is the forward way. So that is why, so you give your attempt first. I think don't be scared. Write a lot of tests. Evaluate yourself. I think that is where you can outgrow your challenge yourself. And don't be scared, because you have to see ultimately what you will do. You will fail, but it is only through failures that you will understand and rectify the process. Because till you are not failing, you will not understand what is actually the issue is. So practice a lot, give the effort, be positive, and I think having staying in a positive sense of mindset will ultimately help. So if you are finding it difficult alone, I think have a small peer group of 3 to 4 like-minded people and push each other. It might be one day you might be feeling low, one might be the other person might be feeling low. It is all natural, but as group, as people, I think we function a lot better. As I said, 1 plus 1 will not be 2, it will be 11 that time. So you are just pushing yourself, you will do better. And that competition, you will try to take it in a positive sense. Don't get overwhelmed. Positive is, you take that competition in a positive sense, push yourself and say, like, I can do better. I'm staying here now. My next target will be to at least come here. Then next. So you challenge yourself to at least be better than your previous, like whatever you are on the previous day. At least try to be better than that. I think the ultimate competition is with yourself. You are scared now, you do better, you will improve, that fear reduces. And when you look back, you say at least that fear is gone. You might not be successful, at least you have grown somewhere. And then you are again pushing yourself to the ultimate goal. So this is how it is going to be. It is not going to be easy. I will not be very over optimistic and tell you, no, it will all be all rosy, very nice. No, it will be going to be difficult. But what can we do? We have to stay in that process and make those corrections and take ultimately move towards that goal. And I think that should be your goal. Moving towards the goal. You might be making it slow. The progress might be slow, but at least you are making. Because see, you have left your job and come here. You are already better than those who are just in their drawing rooms thinking, I should do UPSC, I should be doing this. You are already better than those. So be in that, take everything in a positive sense and move forward.
Good morning, sir. Sir, what was your complete strategy from pre to interview?
Just brief highlights I would give, because complete strategy is very difficult. We can make a very exclusive session on that. But for prelims, all the 3 successful prelims have been only when I've written a lot of tests, did a lot of revision. So revision, keeping the resources limited, lot of revision of the same resources, writing a lot of tests, analyzing it, then going to the test as if it is another mock. That kind of mindset always helped. And I would never go behind trends, weightage distribution, this subject gets less, that subject gets more. No, I would give the core subject, I would put my all heart, I would give another extra iteration of revision. But even to the peripheral subject, I would make sure, because I have studied ancient and medieval history so much, that is one subject I think most of them would neglect, but I have always loved to read it. So do not neglect any subject, give everything. Even with respect to CSET, do not neglect it. Make a good notes from some coaching institute or insights, etc. Then practice a lot. CSET, especially with CSET, no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many PYQs you see, ultimately when the progress will only happen when you put pen to paper. You start solving. You solve 10, you might get 9 wrong, no issues. You get even 10 wrong, no issues. But ultimately that is where the progress will happen. You might, by seeing, you might say, I know this, I am getting this right. But if you're not putting pen to paper and not solving, I think CSET will not be easy. So this is for prelims. For mains, UPSC preparation is mains preparation. It is not prelims preparation. Initially, I think beginners do that mistake. So my advice is, and because mains, that time gap is only getting narrower year on year. It is getting narrow. Earlier there was 110 days, now 100 days. Now it is just 75 days, even if you count the day next after the prelims as well. So you're just left with what's 80 less than 80 days. So that is difficult. So in that span, if you think I will do something about mains, then it is wrong. You have to get your basics notes, mains notes ready, at least optional ethics, and one of the 3 GS you have to be ready with before the prelims. And once you clear prelims, then you have already a lot of ready-made things are there. Now you're just filling the other gaps, and with that you are doing a lot of answer writing, correction, value addition. So this is again my main strategy. Be mains oriented. Think of all the topics only in terms of mains. If you're reading the newspaper, always think in terms of how can I write it in mains. Do not think only from prelims. Think only from mains perspective. And I feel prelims is a subset of mains preparation. Once you are good with all the 4 GS, you will naturally do better in GS prelims, because conceptually will be much stronger. You will understand much better. So so that would be my advice. Do a lot of answer writing. Prelims is a subset of mains, so do mains intensive, mains oriented preparation. For interview, I think it's a completely different skill set. Read a lot of newspaper. Even for mains, I have read 2 newspaper, The Hindu and Indian Express. One newspaper completely, the Indian Express only the explained part and the editorials. This is what I would advise, because the exam is becoming more newspaper oriented rather than just some PYQ based that is going now. Even with respect to this year anthropology or PSR especially, it was newspaper oriented. So read newspaper very thoroughly. That is something I personally loved reading. And don't try to make any notes or anything. Just read, understand, and follow it with monthly current affairs. That is a good way of doing current affairs. So then for interview, I think same. Interview would be mostly DAF oriented. So at least the first interview. So that is a different, you will do interview at that time. That is not going to be a lot problematic. Problematic areas are prelims and mains. Yes. Yes.
ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. Apart from self-belief, what kept you going? What kept you motivated despite some repeated failures?
So self-belief, yes, it has to be number one. Second is, I wanted to do this like for my father. I said that son, father do, and I think for every son or any child, it is like they want to do better than their fathers. Their father struggled and come to a level, and as children, we want to do better than that and give them a life that is they've aspired for but not able to do it. And I think my father had that dream, and with a lot of challenges he grew up, with a lot of restrictions, financial limitations he grew up, and he had to let go of his dreams. So for that always kept me motivated. Third is that motivation all got even more concretized after my work, sir. So in terms of work, the kind of setup I saw in state government, there are a lot of good things that is happening, but there are certain things that I was not very happy with. So be it corruption, be it the file movement that happens even today in this digital space, I was not something very happy with it. I felt if I am in that kind of position, I have to bring some changes around that, because I work in public works department. So I wanted to do something with respect to governance. So this is another. So even my work, I took it in a positive sense. And fourth, I felt all the negative comments, all the criticism, I've always taken. Initial years, I was very reactive to it. Like later years, I thought I do not have to react to it in verbally or anything. My work would answer it. So I just kept believing that if I do work and excel, and I think that will ultimately translate into my defense. I need not even go for any defense. That my rank will ultimately be the defense. So this is what I drove me. So all the criticisms also I've taken it in a very positive sense. So these 4 areas I would say. There's one question here. Yes, he was waiting for a long time. Yes. ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ. Examination 22. Oh. Okay, I see. So I'll answer the first one. He's basically asked about civil engineering graduate having a lot of civil engineering options beyond UPSC. So should he take up? So I've already partially answered with respect to plan B that I said. So yes, you have to take up. But when do I take up is also a question. If initially you are doing the foundation, etc., that time you get some opportunity, and that would be difficult because you have not had that UPSC foundation, and if you join that work, you will not have that base ready. So maintaining the UPSC preparation would be difficult. But after 2 to 3 attempts, I think if you're not still very successful in this exam, that is a very good opportunity. That is when you have to seriously look for other alternatives like SSC, RRB, civil engineering. There might be a lot of state government jobs as well. But with respect to state government jobs, I would say advise one more thing. Irrespective of what stage you are, you have to give that state government exam, because it will happen. It might happen today, but the result will come sometime later, like 2 years later. So you cannot say I am not ready now and I'll give it when it comes later. That time it will not come, because that time the results of this exam will be coming. So with respect to state government exams, if they're coming now with respect to your jobs, just take it, just apply to it and write it. And don't be in that tendency that if I go to this exam, clear this exam, and if I get that job, I will get deviated. First you clear this exam also, because this is also difficult. Don't neglect any exam. just because you're preparing for UPSC, other exams will not be easy. Every exam has its own competition. You might be preparing for UPSC and feeling this is a lower exam, but there are thousands of lakhs of aspirants preparing separately for that, much more better, much more intensively. There your UPSC knowledge will not even come in to help. So that is why respect other exams as well. Whenever an opportunity like that comes, please take it with both hands. Especially civil engineering, I think you will get a lot of state government jobs. Please take them up, JEE, AE, etc. Please take it. Even there are a lot of central PSUs offering jobs if you are able to do it well. So, but keep applying. Don't do it like rigorously. When the application opens, you give some time. Rest all, because of UPSC preparation, you will have that GS help anyway. Then some additional reading when the exam is around. So this is how you have to balance. Don't look at UPS as an end in itself, that I'm going to do this itself. That is not the, like the word is not running only on UPS. There are other things as well. So have that balance. After 1 or 2 attempts, I think having that balance will help, and you should go for it. With respect to essay, I think I'll just give a brief thing here, but ultimately I think I'll talk to sir and we'll do an exhaustive essay session, because that is something I have enjoyed writing. I enjoyed writing a lot of essays, and it has been one of my comfort areas, but not for everyone. So what I will do is, the essays are getting more philosophical, but philosophical essays need not necessarily be philosophical in writing. You don't have to be philosophical. But somewhere I think that additional reading you mentioned, that comes in handy. Somewhere even that I again had an advantage, because I loved reading books. I keep reading a lot of non-fiction books, especially my interest around Supreme Court judgments, constitution, law, etc. So I read a lot of books around that. So it gives you an advantage in terms of new ideas, in terms of literature. One more, what happens is, because we are reading a lot of UPSC notes, UPSC textbooks, we are not really exposed to literature. But essay is not like that. Essay is an open field where he's asking you to write in a coherent way, in a more creative way, more in a literary sense. GS is not expecting that, and you need not write also. But we are tuned to write, look at everything from a UPSC point of view, like pointers, notes, etc. But that is what actually becomes a hindrance when we start writing essays, because we are thinking that pointers, etc., that will not help. There you need literary, and to get exposed to that literary sources, we need to read some non-UPSC like non-fiction books based on your own interests. For me, it was Supreme Court judgments. It can be anything for your interest. So read books around that. It can be some fictional books as well, but I think that will at least expose you to ideas, and those ideas directly you can put in essays, and that is where your essay will ultimately stand, because now you know how actually what is a good essay, what are some good words, your vocabulary increases, your sentence framing increases, the way of storytelling. Only when you have read lot of stories can you write a good story. Because you've read notes, you will end up writing notes even in essay. So read a lot of stories, read a lot of these interesting anecdotes, have a good collection of anecdotes, quotations, etc. Read other topper copies essays as well. Even if you're not writing, at least read them. So only when you're reading, then you will understand how to write. So this supplement with a lot of other reading as well. It can be a very casual reading, but at least keep reading. That will help. Newspaper, again, newspaper has to be your primary resources. There is no alternative to newspaper. Do not neglect newspapers. Ultimately, all the current affairs magazine compilation is only a secondary source. The ultimate source is the Hindu and Indian Express. Please read them every day. You will, again, as I said, the improvements is only going to be incremental. You will not see results today, tomorrow, or the next week. It will happen somewhere months later, but you will understand that you have improved, and that is enough. So this is my suggestions. And with respect to essay, I think I'll talk to sir. We'll do a very exhaustive essay oriented session. That is from my side, and that apart from, I think I've covered most of the things. We'll do again. Okay.
Right. Just a second. Yeah. Sir, just to add few points to the essay question he asked, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Yeah. all of you. It was nice seeing you all come here, ask a lot of questions. In the class, you're all very silent. We need to do a lot more of toppers talk, is it, for you to talk a lot? Anyways, so I was talking about essay, and sir was speaking about this reading habit. Just in the morning, I was reading this article which was released in this Big Think journal. And there they had mentioned, when you read, and there it was about fictional books. Sir likes reading non-fictional books. That is his personal opinion. So there in that reading, they had mentioned, if you read fictional books, it helps you to develop certain values such as empathy, compassion. It expands your imagination. It expands your creativity. You can go back home and you can research that article. It is available. It was released just a few hours ago. So develop that habit of reading. Once you develop that habit of reading, sir was talking about the values that were imbibed or inculcated in him since his early days as well. Sir was talking about public service values. Am I right or am I wrong? So reading does help. And I've seen you have three classes on a day-to-day basis. You might not get enough time to prepare for all these type of things. Take it as a stress relief. Take up essay writing as a stress relief. And those of you who have followed me, I quite regularly take up orientation sessions for essays when you have that mains period going on. So we have had sessions on literary scripts that can be used, fictional, non-fictional, these type of things. But of all the questions that you asked, one question I enjoyed a lot was from this fellow. Relationship. Class mugdan milchago helತೀನಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ. Right? And I've had conversation with KIRAAN sir since last couple of days. Very jovial individual, very humble. That's a breath of fresh air in the last couple of years that we have seen. Last couple of years, yes. So it's nice, and we thoroughly enjoyed the topper session. I still think few of the students have questions. We will address them after the session, guys. All right. Now we want to thank sir for being here, for spending his precious time with us, sharing his wisdom, sharing his experience. I heard few of the students asking questions like, sir, how to maintain motivation? Just to add my 2 cents to it, motivation comes when you work. Everything that we say in terms of words, it might motivate you as of now. But however, when you start consistently acting on a day-to-day basis, that is when motivation will sustain itself for a much longer period of time. So take all his words in the right way and try to have a plan for yourself and push yourself harder. Everyone at Insights will always be there to help you out. And we want to see you become toppers of this state, and we want to see you excel in your life in whatever you do. And we want to call you for next year's topper sessions like this. We want to see our students shine in their life. Don't take it as a pressure. Enjoy the process. That is what we want.
Even add to it, sir, even that pressure is a privilege because because there is expectations from you. If you're not capable, I think people would not have expected from you. So take that pressure itself as a privilege because they think you are capable of doing it. So I think what a great privilege to be even to be tired of doing the things you love. So that's something I would tell you.
Remember, stress is not what kills you. It's how you react to it. Pressure, if it is there in your life, don't worry. It's natural. Just learn how to react to it. You have so many mentors available. Use their facilities, use their expertise, and just come forward in life, progress in life. All right. I like to invite all the faculties who are present here. We want to showcase our gratitude to KIRAAN sir for spending his time and sharing his experience. And I request all of you to participate in it as well. All right? Good. Pradeep sir, I will pass on the mic to the Director Sahib of Insights IAS.
ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಕಿರಣ್ ಸರ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಉಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ. ಸಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಲೈನು, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸರ್ಸ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಇಸ್ UPSC might not reward the one who studies the most, but UPSC will definitely reward one who perseveres even when everything falls apart. When it seems like it's the end, you should still keep working. Okay? So that is what I learnt from the Sir's story. And for me, like as I told you, I was very happy for this session because he is someone who has seen the ups and downs of life. Okay, and the best thing is that he did not give up even when he could not succeed in his previous attempts. So that perseverance, that grit, that commitment and that determination will what transform a normal aspirant into an officer. So be inspired by him, his journey, and we hope to host you as the next guest in the Toppers Talk and work towards that. Thank you. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ IAS ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸನ್ಮಾನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಸರಿನಾ? ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇನ್ನೇನು ಮಾತು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮುಗೀತು.